incense go out. Y'all, my favorite incense is amber. It really just is. I burn it daily. Okay, sorry about that. I would have lit that before I hit record, but I didn't realize it was out until after I hit record. So in this video, I'm going to address T. Bowman's question, asking me to do a beginner necromancy video. So to start off with, getting into necromancy, you know, you need to know that it is, how can I put this? Without trying to make it sound foreboding, because I think that's cliche, it has a steep price. It really just does. And that might be a cliche, but it is the truth. Necromancy has a steep price energetically to the person who's doing it. It's draining. Okay? So, you need to be aware of that if you're going to get into this. Definitely. I think that's something that you should consider and just be aware of. It is a draining thing when you're getting really into it. I think it would be different if you're just doing it occasionally. You know, just sometimes, every now and then. But if you're doing it as one of your main practices, like I do, it's a draining. So you have to figure out ways. Well, you're not going to have to figure out ways. I had to figure out ways to, you know, balance it out and make it to where it's not so draining. What I discovered in my experiences and just doing it was that it really helps to call on different spirits to help the process, okay? So, hang on a second. Let me grab a book. Okay. What I found out is that you can actually call on some different spirits to help you with the necromancy so that it's not so draining on you personally. So this is the xoxo. And one of the spirits that I worked with to help me, and I still do, is the Spirit Murmur. Let me see if I can find his entry in here. By the way, do not get this book. Do not get this version of this book, I should say, because it does not have the seals in it. And I did not know that until after I got it. Okay, here it is. It's Spirit 54. So, yeah, this book just has all the spirits listed and their numbers, but it does not have the seals. So, I kind of wish I would have bought a different version. I probably still am going to buy a different version that has the seals in it. But this is just a really thin version that I found on eBay. So if you see this one, do not buy it, okay? I mean, unless you don't care that the seals aren't in it. So the entry from Murmur says, the 54th spirit is called Murmur or Murmus or Murmux. He is a great duke and an earl, and he appears in the form of a warrior riding upon a griffin with a ducal crown upon his head. I'm sorry, this is written in like the Old English stuff. There does go before him those his ministers with great trumpets sounding. His office is to teach philosophy perfectly and to constrain souls deceased to come before the exorcist to answer those questions which he may wish to put to them, if desired. He was partly of the order of thrones and partly that of angels. He now rules 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this. But it does not show the seal. So one of his things that he helps with is necromancy, where it says to constrain souls deceased to come before the exorcist to answer those questions. Okay, so I recommend, if you're just starting out with this, work with Murmur to help you with necromancy. He will also teach you how to do necromancy, and different things like that. I made a pact with the spirit. If you look back on my channel, I did make a pact with Murmur, and I made a video about it. He's the spirit that scratched me on the back of the neck to create the blood when we made our deal. And he did appear. He did appear how he is said to. There was 2 spirits that came before he did, and they were actually 2 human souls, and they basically announced that he was arriving. So that's how that actually did go down. So yes, I recommend that you work with Murmur if you're a beginner getting into necromancy. It does work. Just use his seal. What did I title that video? I think I titled it My Experiment Summoning a Goetic Demon or something like that in the sleep state or the dream state. I don't know what I titled the video, but you'll be able to find it if you just look through my videos. I did not do a very ritualized summoning of Murmur. I did it pretty much how I do everything. I did it my own way. Because I have my best encounters with spirits when I'm in that state between sleep and awake. When I'm laying in bed and either I just wake up or I'm just falling asleep. And I get in that in-between state, and I'll just be lying in my bed. I'm still awake, but the dream state has begun to overlap. It's called the visionary state as well. And that's when I interact with spirits and spirits of the dead and other deities and demons and things like that. I have conversations with them and all of that. And so what I did was I called out to Murmur when I was going to bed, or actually a little bit before I went to bed. I called out to him. I did draw his seal with chalk on my altar, and I burned 4 candles on the 4 points of his seal. And basically, that's all I really did. And then I just called out to him, like, to come to me when I was in that visionary state and to make a deal with me, to help me to master necromancy and to help me with necromancy and all of that. And he did come that night. So I recommend that you do something like that. Build some kind of relationship with the Spirit Murmur, okay? He can help you a lot with necromancy, and it will not be draining to you. It will be as simple as doing an evocation ritual. So definitely I would say go that route with it. However, you might have to make a pact with him, or you might have to like give him offerings or something every time that you work with him. So that's something to consider as well. Obviously, it is spirit work, so make sure that you're honoring him. And however that, whether you have a pact with him or if you're just working with him, giving him offerings, you know, be respectful of that process as well. You might also want to consider working with Hecate in her aspect as Prytania, the invincible queen of the dead. She can also help you with spirit work, with working with the dead, with necromancy. I do have a seal I will share with you all, if I can find it. Or not a seal, a sigil. For Hecate Prytania. This is on a necklace form that I made, but that is the sigil that Hecate gave me to basically invoke and evoke her in her aspect of Prytania, the invincible queen of the dead. So there you go. You can use this, okay, but you know, please respect that I created that sigil and don't try to publish it or anything in your own work or anything like that. And please don't share it with people who don't respect the goddess Hecate. You know, as their matron goddess. If they're not devotees, then just please do not share that sigil with them. Okay, but you can use that sigil as well to work with her in that way and to help you with necromancy. So I've done that as well, and I've had a lot of success with that as well, and it is not draining to you. So I feel like that's the most important thing to cover in this video for a beginner coming into necromancy. I can't stress this enough. It really is probably the most important lesson coming into this. Make sure that you align yourself with spirits that can help you do necromancy. Otherwise, it will be very, very draining on you if you're going to be doing it a lot. And it can be dangerous because it can lead to, you know, illness and even injury and stuff like that. That might happen anyway as well. I'll put that in this video too as a little bit of a precaution. Whenever I go through my cycles of getting really heavy into necromancy, which I'm probably going to be doing soon since it is turning winter here in the northern hemisphere and all of that, and that's really when I get into this kind of magic more intently, you may find yourself injuring yourself a lot, cutting yourself and bleeding and things like that. When I say cutting yourself, I don't mean like as a mental illness. I mean like accidentally cutting yourself and things like that. as well, because the spirits feed on that. So that's something to consider. I have never harmed myself grievously, um, but I have, when I go through my heavy periods of necromancy, like pricked my finger so many times on accident, and just little small things like that, just to draw blood, just enough to draw blood, and things like that tend to happen. And personally, to me, it doesn't bother me because I know what it is. I know that the spirits are just feeding, they need that energy. And, you know, I do also prick my finger purposely to feed them. Now that I've gone through these experiences where it just happens, I sort of do it on purpose, at this point, because I know that they need the energy, so it won't happen on accident. Okay, so consider that as well. And really just go back and watch my other videos about necromancy and the magic of necromancy itself, because I kind of already talked about some of this in that video, and I talked about more in that video of doing necromancy and the magic itself. But since this video was more so to be geared towards beginners, I felt like the most important lesson for sure is, you know, make sure that you're aligning yourself with spirits that will help you with this and with the process of it, because I feel like that's the most important thing. For sure. I'm thinking for a moment. I feel like another important thing for a beginner would be, you know, gathering some basic materials to use to get into the current of necromancy. Animal bones, get some jars of graveyard dirt, and different things that you might find in a cemetery, like rocks or stones or something that, you know, brings that energy in, to your altar and things like that. So that's another little thing that I think is productive for a beginner as well. I can't really think of anything else at this particular moment that I think is really important and vital for a beginner other than what I've mentioned. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope it answers your question, T-Bowman. And you guys, let me know if you have any questions or topics, requests. Leave that in the comment section below, and I will try to cover everyone's. And if you want to get in contact with me for a private reading, for spell work, or to join my private Facebook teaching group with paid membership, you can contact me through the methods in the description box below, through Facebook, email, or Instagram, and we can discuss that and all of the prices. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.